welcome.
Hello, Mama Bear.
Hello.
Hello.
So, I do have my character in game, just so I have something on the screen, whatever.
Okay.
But
Okay.
so we are here to talk about the public test round for season 23.
Well, I'm glad you brought this up. I'm so excited about this because for years we've been asking that the followers actually do something. And it's been a myth of what they really do. Do they really bring anything to the table the way that they are set now with any of the items that we put in there? And I'd have to say very minimal. But
Right.
now it seems we're getting a complete reboot of the followers, and I am so excited about that.
Oh, you sound excited.
I am. I
So,
am.
PTR for this starts today, some point today.
Today,
Well,
sometime, I think probably around 7 o'clock tonight it's gonna start,
it's
most likely.
Blizzard, so it is what it is. It'll be here when it's here.
So true.
So you, as a solo player, obviously are very, very excited about this.
I am, and let me tell you why. So I've got almost 3,000 hours of solo play.
Hmm.
And it's very hard to get to where everybody is when you're solo playing.
Right,
Because you're not running in groups and you're not, so you're only relying on your skills,
right.
which is a good thing, but you lag behind greatly.
Oh
Um,
yes,
and now we're going to be able to have a follower that's actually going to give us boosts and actually do damage.
right.
And I'm excited for that because being someone who does like to play offline, um, I definitely like that I'm going to be supported now. Yay! Supported.
You're supported. So
Supported.
this new follower system revamp, which, okay, I know it says it's a new season, but does not really seem so far like a seasonal theme to me.
It's
Um,
not.
the follower system revamp is actually going to be made permanent
That's correct.
for
So
seasonal and non seasonal. So
that's correct. So when PTR goes live, I believe it's also going to go live for the offline also, possibly.
I'm not sure
Um,
exactly how that's going to work, but I do know, that a lot of times when they do the PTR, they go ahead and they do implement the different items into the game.
correct. So here's the big thing. Going back to your previous question, um, the theme.
Right.
Season 23 is not a season 23. It's
Exactly.
real. It's really a complete buff, a remake, a huge update to Diablo. And to tell you the truth, I would rather have this than to do another season of basically cooker cutter stuff, which we
Right.
all know what we're talking about, right?
Right. And and I understand where you're coming from, but at the same time, everybody's used to having, something every season. Like the fourth cube slot this season, and hitting the pylons and getting the buff from that, or like in previous seasons, the snowballs and the
You're
twisters
right.
and all
And
that. This season,
you're
we're not going to be
absolutely
having,
right.
yeah, this season we're not going to get anything like that. And
No, you're
then
not. But here's the thing this is permanent.
right, right. And I understand that. But at the same time, you've got these others out there. And what I mean by others is the group players. And they're feeling like, okay, what about us this season? And I get what
Oh,
they're saying, but I'm thinking, okay, well, you're thinking, what about us? What about all these solo players who in the past have been like, what do we get from this?
right. Well, the solo players haven't had anything since Diablo came out.
Exactly. And I get that.
So, what I'm going to say right now to all you people is calm down. Let us solo players have a little bit of spotlight here,
Mhm.
because now we're going to be able to show ourselves on the leaderboard, unlike we were not able to do before across all platforms.
Right.
So that's really cool. And whatever your build you're doing, now you know me. I'm not a cookie cutter guy, am I?
You really are
So
not. You get these off the
I'm
wall
not.
builds that make no sense to
I
me.
right,
But I
and
love
but I
it.
make them work.
You do. I love it. You make it work. I'm just like, how the frick is he man? I mean, you're wearing Blackthorn's, what is it, Blackthorn's Dungeon or whatever cross. And I'm just like,
the
why are you
yeah,
wearing that amulet? Come on now. I mean,
because it's a god roll.
yeah, but
So
see, there's reasons
it,
behind it. Reasons why you do it.
and if I take it off, I lose 3 million damage points.
Right. See, and it
So
works for you. And that's
it
great.
does.
It does. It
It
really works
does.
for you. Not
And I
everybody has to do the
sacrifice.
same.
Nope. And I sacrifice. If I mean, I could probably do higher and faster and better if I was to take that off and put on a flavor of time or a squirts necklace or one of those other ones.
Right. Okay.
But
So back to PTR and the new
yes, let's go
season.
back to the PTR. Yes.
Yes, yes, yes. So the new follower system is
Mm-hmm.
now going to allow followers to have a total of 14 different item slots, which means
Amen, sister.
they are going to
Yes.
be able to have the complete setup
Yes, let's go back to the PTR.
that the
Yes.
rest of us would have, as well as
That
their relic.
that is correct. And here's the cool thing. All right. So kind of what I was saying earlier. So there are going to be some relics that are going to give specific boosts, like the Nemesis bracers, Flavor of Time. Kind of upset that they didn't put the Squirts necklace in there. That would have been awesome. That would have been awesome. But the other stuff that I'm seeing is really for I'm gonna say Nephilim runs. It's for doing quick runs for gold or for loot or for for
Right,
key
right.
runs.
Which was another point I was going to touch base on. Um, you not only does your follower get all these buffs, you get them as well.
That's correct, but it all depends on how you do their build. So
Right,
again, now you're not only thinking about your build, but now you've got to think about the build of the follower
right.
that you've chosen.
Right, which was what I was going to touch base on. You can have a follower that's going to be, you can have a DPS follower, you could have a ZDPS follower, you can even go as far as having the gold find, double death breath, or an extra, chance for greater riftstone keys.
You can, but here's the important things. So let's say, and by the way, I really do think that the Templar is out this season. Um, I don't think anyone's going to be using the Templar.
But
I
see,
think it's
Templar has always been my favorite.
he has, but the the scoundrel, excuse me, and the oh, what's her name? I can't think of her name. Really,
Well,
the
yeah,
Enchantress,
right.
the
And
Enchantress.
we'll go point by point on those. But, as far as the uh Templar, I don't know. There's just
Mm-hmm.
always been something about having a big strong man running beside you. Yeah. That's just always been my thing.
You know, that's true, and he does gives his buffs,
Right.
but this time they really buffed the scoundrel.
They really have.
They really did.
So
They
yeah,
really have. So
let's go ahead and move on to the scoundrel then. A lot of the things with the scoundrel has stayed the same as far as his skills. They've done some revamping to it. They've reworked the vanishing skill,
mm-hmm.
and when you take fatal damage, your scoundrel is going to conceal you from the enemies that are around you, and he's going to conceal you for like 3 to 7 seconds, and
That's
that's going to be
correct.
based on his dexterity, and it's going to prevent you from dying.
And again, this is where I'm talking about. Now you have to really think about when you're putting armor on him. not just to put intelligence on him or not to put,
Right.
but you really have to think about what you're putting on him and what weapons he has in his
To
hand.
get that dexterity up. Right.
That's correct. Yep.
And in all honesty, that there is going to be a second cheat death for you if you use that cheat death. And if you do not use it to begin with, that's going to be, a cheat death that you're going to have because it's going to prevent you from dying.
Correct. Correct.
And he's got a couple new skills. The Knight's Veil,
The
which
Knights fell.
yes,
Yep.
he's going to launch a cloud that's going to cover a 20-yard area, and
Which
it's
is
good.
not a small area.
Oh,
That's a pretty large area.
right, and it's going to last for 5 to 10 seconds,
And that's a long
that's
time.
and that's based on his dexterity also. And then every
That's
attack
correct.
that you make to the enemies inside of there is going to be critical hits, which
That's
is
correct.
going to significantly boost damage.
So think about it. So if you had a build where you could group things together and then he shot that cloud into that grouping, right?
Right.
Think of the damage that you're going to be able to do now by yourself.
Oh, exactly.
Well, normally that would fall on a necromancer, right? Or a
Well,
witch doctor
or this season it was the ZDH.
or the ZDH.
Yes.
So this is I'm literally tingling right now. I'm tingling.
He's tingling,
I am. I got goosebumps. I'm
Listen, he's
tingling.
tingling, folks.
I'm tingling. So this is big for me, and I'm sure it's big for a lot of people because I know a lot of people, a lot of my friends. We actually play offline, um, and talk as we're playing.
Right.
So, um, so yeah, I can't stress enough. And I thought I shut that off, and you're gonna have to wait.
Interview time, folks.
Yes.
And then
Sorry about that.
the last one that they have done, well, they removed the dirty fighting and poison bolts, but that skill is no longer going to be there. But now they have the piercing shot, which is
That's
going to,
correct. So
yeah, it's
right. So
the ranged
go ahead.
attack.
I'm sorry.
It's the range attack, which is going to pierce, and it increases damage done to enemies by 10% for 3 to 6 seconds. And it, again, is based on the dexterity of the scoundrel.
Okay. So the scoundrel is does look to be a dexterity build.
Right. Well, yeah, I think it has always been a dexterity build.
So this would be really good with, I would say, your demon hunter. That's a
Right.
dexterity build.
Exactly.
Um, right?
Yes.
So you would want to kind of match these with your build, is kind of what I'm saying.
Right.
So this way, as you're building up, you're also building him up. And you're getting those dexterity builds, those boosts that
Hmm.
everyone's been talking about. But I have to tell you, until we get into the meat of the game, let's go. Until we
Right.
get into the meat of the game, we're
Right.
not going to be able to know what's going on.
So, I mean, the scoundrel is looking like a pretty good option.
The
Now,
the scoundrel is a really good option.
yeah.
I mean, if you look at his skills based on everyone else's skills, he by far right now ranks number one. I can guarantee that most likely everyone is going to be running with the scoundrel.
Yeah. Now, moving on to the Templar, they really haven't done a whole lot with him. They've changed a couple little skills. The onslaught is going to deliver a massive blow for 800% weapon damage, and it's going to cause the nearby targets and nearby enemies to take a 10% increased damage for 3 to 6 seconds based on his strength. It's really not much of a difference of what it was before.
It's not, and even the the skill that reworked the guardian. When you take fatal damage, the Templar will rush to your aid, knock back enemies within 15 yards, healing you 15 to 20% of your life. Templar's strength is strength, so of course everything on him is going to be strength.
Right.
And the shielding from all damage for 5 seconds. Well, that hasn't. It's been reworked, but it hasn't really been worked that well. And I got to tell you, if you really look at the skills of what the scoundrel has compared to the skills of what this guy has, it doesn't compare.
Right.
It's
Well, I mean, Onslaught before, what the it already did the 800% weapon damage. And then as the other part of that you could choose was it would charge a target dealing 280% weapon damage and stunning the enemies for 8 seconds within 3 yards. So, I mean, this one here, instead of stunning them, it's now going to do the weapon damage, but it's going to give increased 10% damage for 3 to 6 seconds instead of, stunning them. And then, we go on to the Guardian, which, again, when you take fatal damage, the Templar will rush to your aid, knocking back enemies within 15 yards, which is still the same. And it
mm-hmm.
heals you for 15 to 25% based on the Templar's strength and shielding you from damage when before it increased did the inspiring option that you could choose would increase your resource generation.
Right. So one thing that we do have to remember, although that this is going to be a permanent remake in D3, this is a PTR, which means that they can change things as
Yeah,
we send them notes and so it's everyone's getting all well, it's a PTR, which means that until they start getting data back from us playing it, things are going to change. I'm going to tell you right now that things are going to change. So we'll just have to wait and see at the end of the 2 weeks what they come up with.
right. So on to the Enchantress.
The
Now
Enchantress, yes.
I have never
I
used the Enchantress. Have you used her?
I use her all the time
And
because
do you like her?
yeah, because she actually is more powerful as far as damage goes for what I'm doing
Uh huh.
um, than the Scoundrel or the Templar.
Okay.
So um, and we'll go
So
over her skills as we're
okay,
as we're talking, and
right.
I'll explain why.
Well, I was gonna say, you used her, so you might be able to, do a little bit more comparison here. First one is the power shield. Now, I don't know. You would be able to tell me is they said that they did some reworking on the skills. They have changed it from power shield to power armor, and it reduces your damage by 6% from ranged attacks, as well as increasing your armor by 3% and slows melee attackers by 60% for 3 to 6 seconds for you and the enchantress based on intelligence. Now,
Okay, so
how is
here's
that different from the shield?
okay. So there really isn't.
Okay.
So what they changed was the only thing they changed was it all stays the same except for by six. The old way it was 60% for 1 second. Now it's 60% for 3 to 6 seconds.
Okay.
So that's what's changed in it. It's a longer stance, and believe it or not, 3 to 6 seconds is a long time if you got a group. So that's kind of a cool thing.
Okay. And then you go on to the new skill, the temporal pulse, however you want to pronounce it. And the enchantress is going to cast a guided orb that's going to deal 150% weapon damage. She's
Yeah, I
going
can't wait to see that. I
she's
can't
going
wait to see that.
yeah, she's going to slow enemies by 80% for 3 to 6 seconds based again on her intelligence.
Right. So here we again, we're seeing that they're clearly telling you that this is an intelligence build. So whatever you're going to do with this build, it's going to be an intelligence build. Now I want to say one thing here.
Mhm.
One thing they are keeping in the build that they're not saying here is you get to keep your your focus, your enchantress focus, or the scoundrel's focus, or the Templar's focus. So you
Right,
get to
which
keep
which
those.
which was one of the 14 items, because
Correct.
originally, us we use 13. You add on theirs that's their 14th item.
14. Correct. But now think about it. So you got all these skills that are buffed, right? They're kind of stacking, and you put on she can't die.
Yes. Which is
I
the
mean,
one
think about that.
everybody goes for, is the one where their follower can't die.
Correct.
Yeah.
So now she's going to be stacking this constantly, right?
Hmm.
So it's just, I can't wait to see what they do. And they might actually end up changing the focuses. We'll see. We'll have to see. But they
Right.
might, because who knows? Maybe having this focus on makes you a god. I don't know. So we'll have to see what
Okay.
they do.
Now the
So
next one is amplification. It's also going to be a new skill, which increases your highest static element bonus by 5 to 10% based on the
this is a big
object's
deal.
intelligence.
This is a huge big deal,
Okay, go ahead and explain
right?
that one.
Okay, so your static um, element, right?
Right, right,
Which, okay, let me just get into my game here so I can look at this real quick, so I can say this correctly. So cold damage, that's static,
right,
right? Lightning, static.
right, right,
So
right.
let's say, right? So you're now to a necromancer, that's big time.
Poison.
That's
What we build
absolutely
this season is poison.
okay. So he'll be able to stack an extra 10% onto his poison. So
Right,
let's say you got a bracer that rolled without cold damage, or your necklace didn't roll with it either, or you're or maybe you both did, and you're running with this. For me, okay, mine's cold, right?
right,
So mine would use the sword that deals cold. My bracers deal cold, and my squirts deal cold. Now that's 60% cold damage. So she's now going to give a possible 10% more cold damage.
that's going to be
That's
quite a
huge.
bit. Yeah,
Yeah, that's
yeah.
yeah. So
I
yeah,
mean,
so that's what I'm talking about. That's huge. Now
10%
think about it.
may look like a small number, but when you add it in there, I mean, it adds up.
It does, especially when you're talking about the ticks of how Diablo works, right?
Right, right.
These ticks. So the other thing is, now what if you throw on a ring of royal, not a ring of royal grandeur, but the oh, what ring is it? I gotta go
Conventions?
to. No, 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 not the conventions. Hold on, let me just run over to my stash here.
He's a
You think
running,
I would have
folks.
been?
He's a running. He's not prepared.
I'm not prepared. I'm so sorry. You would think I would be. So bad of me.
Oh, well, well,
What'd I do?
well.
I know, I know, I know.
All right.
Blame it on my mother. So the sword I'm talking about is Azarath,
Okay.
right? So Azarath is not only does it do cold damage, which we really know that doesn't do much, but it does the cold skill damage
Right.
on that sword. So combine that with your Wraps of Clarity with cold damage
Right.
and your Squirt's Necklace with cold damage. That's a possible 60, and then add that to 70. And the other piece I was talking about, as soon as I could find it, because my inventory is so full, the Ring of Jordan,
Oh,
right?
the Stone of Jordan. Yeah.
The Stone of Jordan. So here you're using the Stone of Jordan, which now takes, let's say that you're at 70%, and all of the other aspects are at 70%, all the way down now. So
Right.
now that that ring is now going to collimate every element, right?
Right.
So now let's say that your weapon isn't cold, but it's holy damage.
Mhm.
Or let's say that your other weapon is fire damage. Well, those weapons are now going to hit more on that. And let's say that you put a, I don't know if it's going to work on the follower, but let's say that you put a ring of conventions on.
Right.
Let's just say you do that. Well, think about the damage that's 70 times now more
Well,
of,
it
of what
should
that
because it
does.
states that you're going to get, their buffs.
Okay. So you gain
Right.
200%.
Right.
So 2 times 7, 14.
Mhm.
Add 6 zeros. It's 140,000.
Oh, you're getting into math here. I did not do
Yeah, I
well in
know.
school.
That's
And
okay.
math was not a good subject for me.
I was a nerd. So anyway, so you're talking 70 times 200.
A lot.
So
A lot.
it's a lot.
Yes.
It's a lot.
Yeah. And okay, so
But
af
here's something else I want to point out that we're talking
oh,
about.
oh,
You're
oh,
looking at the screen here. So just count the skills that the interest that she has. So it's
right,
one,
and
two,
that's what
three,
I was
four,
getting ready
five,
to
six,
say.
seven.
They have added quite a bit to this enchantress
Yeah, but
because
oh no, but this is what I'm saying. Now look at um, the Templars. One, two,
right,
three, four, five. Five.
right.
He's got five. And I believe the scoundrel has just as many as she does. So she has one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight. So the scoundrel has eight. The Templar has five.
Well, that they're only showing the 5, but usually you get the choices there's like 8 different ones you get to choose from.
I
I'm
don't
not
know,
I'm not
girl.
sure how that's going to play out. I guess we'll see here in a few hours.
In a few hours.
We will. We'll be
And
able to
I
go
heard
through and check
also
it
that
all out.
yes, and we'll do a live stream if you want to do it that way. We'll do it together. Um, so and I'll do my live stream. You'll do your live friend. We'll get friends. We'll come together. We'll shampoo. We'll do nails. We'll sit back. We'll relax. I don't know. So where'd that come from? I don't know. Anyway, you there?
Yes, I'm here. I am here. I'm listening to you. Oh, okay. So after that is the another new skill, which is the prophetic harmony, and it's going to reduce your cooldowns by 5 to 10% based on the enchantress's intelligence.
And how many builds rely on cooldown?
Every build. Well,
Every build. But what build really relies on it? Necromancer. You
well, no, not this season. This season, you don't really need cooldown. About the
don't need
only
cooldown?
no, the only skill that you would want cooldown on this season really is going to be the bone armor or your blood rush, but I mean they're pretty quick cooldowns. Well, your bone armor takes a little bit, but when you're running in a group, you're not really too worried about the stunning the enemies. I mean, of course, you want to keep your stacks up to help with the weapon damage, but as far as stunning them, you got your barb there to help you with that.
Yeah, so I'm
So,
just wondering. So you throw on the three pair of Captain Crisman set on her,
hmm
right?
right,
And on top of that, you get the buffs from that
right. You're gonna have
plus a pop.
a hell of a
Yeah.
lot of cooldown. I mean,
Yes.
pardon my French, but you're going to have a hell of a lot of cooldown.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay,
It's
and the last one is the Fate's Lapse. And when you take fatal damage, the Enchantress is going to empower you to speed up your movement through time for 3 to 7 seconds to avoid death based on her intelligence, which again is another cheat death.
not only that, but it could also help. Now, when you get up to 140s, 145s, 150s, and you get into a mound of crap,
Right.
and you're stuck in the center of that mound of crap,
Oh, it's rough. Let me tell you.
right? And you die, you're in that crap. You can't get up.
Oh, trust me, I know. I've been doing this 147 that I've been pushing on for like weeks now, and yeah, I die every freaking time in these mounds and mounds of crap, and even my cheat death procket, and I still can't get away from them.
So she's going to give you a walk through time, which is going to allow you to basically teleport out of
Yes,
from where you are to a safe area.
right,
And if you're pretty quick, 3 seconds, you can move a long distance from
right.
where you were.
Well, I mean, it's three to
So,
seven seconds, so
right. I'm just saying, I'm just taking the small numbers, 3 seconds. I mean, the Demon Hunter, the DHG, in 3 seconds, I could be on a whole different board.
right, right, right. And like I said, it's another cheat death there that people could use.
It
Whether
is.
whether it's going to be their first or second. I mean, some of my builds I do use a cheat death because they're so squishy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then they have removed the forceful push, mass control, disoriented, and missile ward. Now with
Okay, well that
the ones
those
that
things never did anything
well, that's
anyway.
what I was going to ask. The ones that they removed, is there any of them that you would have liked to have seen them keep?
Absolutely not, because none of them were ones that we would use. When I use, this is what I use. So I use charm,
Mm-hmm.
I use powered armor, I use erosion, which is huge, and I use an aura, focus mine, an aura that increases attack speed for you and the enchantress for like 2 seconds, 3 seconds. So the other ones that they're eliminating don't use.
Okay.
So
So now let's go back to the scoundrel for a minute.
okay,
Out of all the changes and all the new skills they're adding in, which one are you most excited about?
I'm going to say the cloud of death. I've got to see him pump that cloud of death where it's just this big green cloud just floating in there and just that's got to be cool as hell.
Okay. And as far as the Templar, we already know there's not much change there, so not even going to ask you about that one. And the Enchantress.
Okay, so for the enchantress, I can't pronounce her name for some reason. Ooh, I'm just going to see the female follower. Okay, so I'm going to have to say I think my biggest thing is going to be that ball that she's going to
The
create,
Temporal
the
Pulse.
the temporal pulse. So yeah,
Yeah, that's the one you're most excited for. All
yeah,
right.
I just want to see that big ball of fire come out and just chase whatever she fired at, because that's basically it's a guided missile.
Right.
So absolutely.
Okay, so and also now on to the next thing that they're doing this season is they're going to do an update to the solo leaderboards, and they're not going to contain additional filters that you can sort by, and it's going to have a total of 7 filters per class now. You're going to be able to filter now by class sets, no class sets, or the overall default filter, of course.
Yeah, we've been asking for this since it came out,
Right, right, right.
because it's only a very few that you ever get to see.
Right.
Well,
It's true. I mean, it is so easy to get to the top of like wizard leaderboards,
right.
because not many are playing the wizard. I mean, there's some out there, but the wizard seems to have been forgotten about for how many seasons now? And
Oh, I don't want to even get into it.
and every season you hear people say, I right before PTR, I hope they're doing something with the wizard. They need to do something to buff up the wizard. They need to revamp the wizard.
Well, 2 seasons ago they did. They came out with a really good build, um, that boosted the hydras along with the cold build.
They
It
did,
was
granted.
awesome.
They did, granted, but it wasn't
But
boosted enough that people were using it to run metas,
no,
which is what a lot of people get into this game and do
correct.
eventually.
Right. And the problem is then they took that build and they completely destroyed it this season.
Yes, 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 they did.
So,
So,
Blizzard, if you're
you
listening,
know,
please stop messing with the build you make.
right? They seem to keep doing that. They get in there, they put us together a great build, like the God set. We're going to talk about that here in a little bit, but they go and they nerf them. And it's
They
like,
do.
why keep nerfing these builds? I get you guys are trying to even out the playing field, but instead of nerfing these builds that are great that everybody's loving, work on building the other builds up some more.
Absolutely. So, I am. I need to extend as far as I can extend here. I've got a little kitty that is begging me to eat. So hold on.
Uh-oh.
Psst, psst, psst. Come on. Psst. No, no, not here. Not there. You're going the wrong way. She's used to eating in a certain spot. All right, I got to put you down for 2 seconds. I'm sorry. Hold
Oh,
on.
break
I'm
time,
sorry. Hold
folks.
on. I know.
Okay.
I'm back. All right, I'm
Okay.
back. I'm
So
sorry.
now we are back.
We are. Thank you.
All right. Not a problem. So this season, we're going to get some new rewards, a new portrait fame, and a new pet for everyone who completes the season 23 Guardian Journey.
Yes, but
Um,
unfortunately, we haven't seen what it's going to be yet, so I have no clue
but
of what it's going to
you
be.
can take a peek during PTR. So there will be
Ooh.
spoilers during PTR. So if you do not want to know any of these little spoilers that we're going to be showing, do not tune in.
Okay,
Although
but if you're like me,
we would
I
love
want
to
to
have
see
you there.
everything.
Yeah, but
I want to see
we
everything.
would love to have you there because
Yes,
I will be again running with Cash Tiger. Everyone who tunes in knows that him and I run together every night. Will be doing PTR as well. Of course, we will probably how we're probably going to be doing PTR is running together to get to level 70 because if you're doing the seasonal part, you have to start over with a new tune again, get to level 70,
correct.
and then we'll probably have to go off and play solo in order to check out these different builds.
That's correct.
Well, now on to item changes.
Item changes.
The Rothma set. Now, I've not really played the Rothma set very much. I don't know if you have,
I
but
haven't.
I'm kind of looking forward to testing this out during PTR. Um, I think what my opinion, I think they're trying to maybe put the Rothma set back into rats. I don't know
I
how
think they are.
I don't know how well that's going to work out because a lot of people have found a way to run rats very very efficiently without using Rathmas.
Okay, but from what everyone is basically saying out there in internet land,
Right.
the Rathmas. I mean, if you read what it says, your skeleton warriors spawn faster and your revived minions no longer expire. You're going to have a mini army around you.
Right. And then of course they're implementing this new item and it's the Bonds of Selena,
Yes,
which your Army of the Dead and Bone Spear is going to deal 300% to 400% increased damage. And your Bone Spear is going to deal an additional 2% increased damage for 5 seconds each time your Army of the Dead hits an enemy.
correct. So, I mean, think about it. So you can already take the bone spear set, sit on one side of the screen, and actually fire, and that bone spear will keep going
Oh,
until it
yeah.
hits something.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, they've made so many changes to it. And during PTR, I do believe that with me playing Necro this season, my first time ever playing the Necro since I bought the pack, I have really grown to love this character. So I think this during this PTR, I am going to test out this setup and see how it runs. I've never really played a wizard either, but maybe the first week I'll mess with the Necro, and the second week I'll test out the wizard set. We'll just see how it goes. So with the wizard, they're made some changes to the Firebird's Finery set. Have
That's
you
correct.
ever played the Firebird set?
Absolutely.
And what I mean, as far as the change, how are they changing it?
Well, they're just going from a three piece to a two piece. So it used to be you had to have three pieces. If you died, it would bring you back. And it used to be four pieces to do the 3,000 degree burning of enemies until they die. So, um, so there's that change. Um, the other, I mean, they basically ramped it up. They did, and they made it powerful. But again, like you said earlier, did they make it feasible? Did they make it to where we can compete in the higher realms?
Right,
We'll have to see. We'll
right,
have to
right,
see.
right.
Wizards are extremely squishy.
Yeah, it doesn't look like they have added in any new. Well, I mean, I haven't. No, they haven't added in any new items to go along with that set.
Well, it's it is a it's a really good build, and it's
Right,
a
but
very specific build of you need to have fire meteorites. You need the
Right,
fire
but what I'm
walkers. You
saying
need
is they didn't add in like um any type
n-
of, what the
no.
heck
It
is the
doesn't.
word I'm
If
looking
you
for?
read here,
Like
well,
bracers or anything like that would help increase the damage on it.
no, no, they didn't change. They didn't. I mean, they constructed it
Right.
as far as the build goes, but they didn't add anything new to it.
Okay.
So it's the same set, just higher specs, more damage.
Gears of the Dreadland got
There you
nerfed.
go.
That one
Yes, they
got
did
nerfed. And that has been one of the leading builds for what, 2 seasons now?
2 seasons. But here's the
I don't
thing.
think it's going to change it much. I mean, of course it's going to change it, but I don't think it's going to change the fact that it's still going to probably be one of the leading builds for the DH.
Well, I think it is going to, because it used to be that the hungry arrows pierce continuously,
Right.
right?
Right.
So it's not going to do that anymore. It's only going to do it twice. So
Right, and
you're
I get that,
talking.
but I still think that when it comes to doing bounties or people are doing key runs or whatever, I
Well,
still
no,
think that's
that's
going to
fine. I
be the
mean,
go-to build.
yeah, but you could use a wizard to do that. I mean, or any build to do that. But unfortunately, if that's your go to, which I was hoping it to be, now again, this is the PTR, and I'm hoping what ends up happening is the community says, guys, what are you doing? You're ruining this build.
Right,
Um,
right, right,
and again, I'm hoping that Blizzard is listening and to the community and says, I think we need to relook at the God build and maybe not touch it, or touch it in a different way, or because they're taking out one of the main skills. It's exactly what they did to the wizard two seasons
it's
ago.
what they did with the witch doctor as well.
Correct.
I mean, if you remember with the witch doctor, the witch doctor was doing hell of damage, and then they took away that pet bonus, and that witch doctor suffered greatly from that. Although, they was able to make a comeback this season with the fourth cube slot.
Correct.
But once
But
that
again,
fourth cube
you're
slot's
right.
gone,
Gone. That's it. You're done.
yeah,
And this has been our biggest complaint. You guys come up with these great builds that we can do during the season runs, and now the season's over and we've got all this gear that I can use on my wizard or whatever, and that's great, but I can't get as nearly as high as I could.
right. And I've noticed it for me, example, and some others. After the season ends, you go over to those other tunes that are now non-seasonal, and they've lost the buffs, but
Mm-hmm.
they've also changed how some of the pieces work or how the whole
Correct.
setup works,
Yep.
and you're not interested in playing it now.
Yeah, they've nerfed my wizard so many times that he's been dormant for 3 seasons now.
Yeah, and that's like, usually I get to the point where during when in between seasons,
Mm-hmm.
you can go over and you can play non-seasonal, uh, but I don't usually do it just because I know now that those tunes have been changed so much from what they were that they're not up to my standards, I guess I should say. They're not where I would want them to be. I would be able to run, say, a 130, 135 on my Demon Hunter, during the season, but then you go back into non seasonal, and now my Demon Hunter can barely do 115s. I mean, it's a big drop.
It's a huge drop. It's a huge drop. So this is why I'm excited about the followers,
Right,
because I think even though we're not getting the fourth cube slot,
right.
which that would have been great too. That really would have. They would have kept that and gave
Oh,
us nothing else.
everybody would have loved to keep it. That's what I heard all season long was, I hope they keep that. I hope they keep that. And I was
Right.
like, that's not happening.
Right. So, but this really is like your fourth cube slot
Mhm. Yeah.
with a kick. So, you know, this is your Jim Beam and rum. You know, it's like it's your high end alcohol kick. So we're hoping that it really does pay off. But again, we won't know until we get to
Right.
play. We
Now, see, according to developers, with the maximum number of times the hungry arrow pierces, the whole reason they did it was to address concerns when interacting with missile dampening. I never had any concerns when it came to, interacting with missile dampening because I absolutely loved how quickly it would take down those missile dampenings.
well,
Be- because
that's what
like
they're
right now,
talking about.
right, because like right now, I'm running my necro, and if I throw bone spears at a missile dampening, it takes forever for them things to die. I can literally walk those missile dampenings completely through the entire map with me,
Mm,
firing back on them on every poison rotation. And by the time I get to the end of the map, they've still got 30 or 40% health left.
yeah. Well, with the demon hunter, the here's the thing with those that did the missile dampening.
Hmm.
So we would just walk around and let someone collect in a group, and then let that missile dampening come over top of that
And
group,
just wipe them out.
and then the demon hunter would come in and just fire shots inside there.
Yeah, and they would just wipe them out, and it was
It
amazing.
would, yes, and unfortunately, I think they're like, oh, wait a minute, this is too powerful of a skill, and I think that's why they knocked it down. But what they're not understanding is one of the reasons why we love playing the build is, I hate to say this, we love killing stuff.
Right.
I like watching stuff explode. One of the reasons why I play Diablo is because it's soothing to me. I have a rough day. I come home, I turn this thing on, I get to kill stuff. It's soothing.
Yep. And
I
then,
really hope the FBI doesn't come knocking on my door.
right. And then, we move on to the witch doctor. Again, they have nerfed the witch doctor. They have changed the gazing demise, so where that now the damage of the spirit barrage is increased by 100 to 150%. The spirit barrage contains the phantasm room that lasts twice as long, and the attack rate for the Manitou specters is increased. Okay, but at the same time, they're saying the Mundunagoo's regalia is overperforming compared to other sets, and changing the gazing demise should simplify the gameplay mechanic while reducing its damage output. So
Well,
again, Witch Doctor is taking another hit.
you see, and that's where I do have an issue. So here, the witch doctor wasn't even really in the season. Wasn't even
Mm-mm.
really played. I mean, I don't think in all the hundreds and hundreds of hours I played with you and everyone else and online and with other people, I think I've seen honestly two witch doctors.
Well, Cash Tiger plays Witch Doctor. That is his solo build that he's been playing all season. And he says it's actually pretty good. He liked it. The fourth cube slot, being able to use the Frostburns in there helped with the loss of the pet bonus. So I mean, it
Mm-hmm.
was still powerful. But again, they're after the Witch Doctor. They're going to
Yep.
keep nerfing these builds to where it's going to get to the point that nobody wants to play them. Um, they
No, I
Go ahead.
go ahead.
No,
No,
go
no.
ahead. No, 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 go ahead.
Okay. So I was watching Rax today,
Hmm.
and he said something very intriguing,
Which is
which
which
is,
which by the way, we
well,
don't normally mention other YouTubers, but yeah, go ahead.
I'm mentioning this because it's a quote, and I have to say where it's coming from. I can't just say
Go
it's
ahead.
coming from
Go
me.
ahead. Go ahead.
So this particular YouTuber or whatever you want to say it is,
Rex Anorax. Yes.
evidently he is working with Blizzard, and he said that I can't discuss things, but there are some major changes coming to Diablo 3.
Right.
So I think this is just a piece of what's coming. And I think there's going to be some really cool changes coming to Diablo 3. Even though Diablo 4 is coming out,
Yeah, and that
which
that
might be a
that was
while.
that was kind of one of my concerns was, because once Diablo 3 came out, Diablo 2 got put on the back burner, and actually they put Diablo 2 on the back burner way before that. They just quit doing anything with Diablo 2. Diablo 3, I do like, how every season there's the new seasons, something is constantly changing in Diablo 3, unlike with Diablo 2, which they have the new Diablo 2 Resurrected out, which we've already discussed that one with the viewers. But that was my main concern was okay, Diablo 4 is going to come out, and those of us that do play Diablo 3, of course, are going to play Diablo 4. I mean, well, at least most of us are. But I would hate for Diablo 3 again to fall onto the back burner
I
because of
don't
a
think
new
it's
game
going
coming out.
to. I don't think it's going to because this has been their bread and butter. This is why they've been able to remaster D2, and this is why they've been able to remaster some of the older games and develop D4.
Right.
Without D3, none of that would even exist. Um, so I think it would be in good faith that they keep going because D3 has a following. It has a
Right. It
huge
does. It
following.
really does.
Yeah, and so does D2, by the way. Um,
I'm so looking forward to, I've already pre-ordered the Resurrection. So,
so did I. I'm waiting.
yeah.
I'm hoping that I get picked to do the uh, the beta. So
Yeah.
I'm really hoping for that.
Yeah.
So we'll see. We'll see.
Let's see. Blackthorns, everyone's favorite set in the game.
I have a whole set. I love them. I wear them when I go to bed.
They replaced one primary property with an elemental damage affix.
Yes. So they're talking about the swamp waders. So the only way that you could get those is you had to build a witch doctor
No,
or
this says it's for the Blackthorns jousting mill, which is
no
the
no
chess
right.
piece.
What they're doing is they're duplicating. So the swamp waders do the same thing.
Hmm.
So now the blackthorns are not only going to roll with an element, but for your class is what I'm
Right.
saying.
Okay, I get what you're saying now.
So you're not going to have to go and ask or beg someone, you got any swamp waders? Can I have them? So they redid a set that is useless
Right.
and made them useful. So
Well,
I'm sure now you're
we'll
going to
see
see
how that
builds out
goes.
there with blackthorns on them now.
We'll see how that goes because normally, Blackthorns is a joke anymore. Everyone just it comes into town. Hey, I got a gift for you, and throws
Yeah.
Blackthorns at you. It's turned into a bit of a joke. It's like, And lastly, they have made a change to one of the class set dungeons,
They
and they
have.
have redesigned the Bones of Rathma set. And so since
And
they've redesigned it, they've updated the objective in that to from revive 100 corpses to now raising 100 skeletal mages.
right, and they actually did the same thing with the change to the Firebird set. So I believe that they had to change that also.
Well, see, I'm still waiting for them to put the set dungeons in for the Mundanagoos, for the God set. Um, what there was another one I believe I can't think of it right off the top of my head, but
Mm.
these new sets that they brought in that we still haven't seen a set dungeon for those. Of course, I've not completed the other set dungeons to begin with because some of them I'm just like I don't know about those. Those are a little bit rough. So
I've done a few, but I have not mastered them. They're some of them are quite hard,
they
and
are,
I'm like, nope,
yeah.
I'm
But
not doing it.
eventually, I plan on going and completing them and mastering them because you get two different sets of wings.
I know,
Gonna
I
make it
know.
there. I'm gonna make it. So anyway, overall, what are your thoughts about PTR? About all these new changes? Are you excited? Well, obviously you're excited. Is there anything that you're not excited for?
Um, no, I think I'm on a positive attitude. I'm really glad that we're not getting a season buff. We're getting a permanent buff,
Hmm.
and for me, that's more important.
Right.
You know, I'd rather have a faucet that I can go get a drink of water to anytime than go have to go out and dip down into a well.
Right.
So,
Well,
um,
me personally, I'm not a solo player.
no,
I can say that I'm not really looking forward to this. I'm not gonna say I'm not gonna try it, but I mean, I like running in groups. That to me, that is what Diablo 3 is about, is group play. My thing is, okay, if it's not based on group play, why is it internet based? So, for me, Diablo 3 is about the social aspect of it, getting in there with your friends, meeting new friends, playing together, having a good time. And now this is all based on solo. We're not really getting anything for people who want to run metas, people who want to run in groups.
you
So,
greedy bee. You're a
yeah, I
greedy
know,
bee.
I know, I know.
Oh my
But, I got to
god.
be honest,
Oh, you're so greedy. We've I've played solo from the beginning, and
right.
you've never heard me complain. Well, what about us? What about
Well,
us?
and
We
I gotta
finally
be,
get a little something from
I
the tree,
got,
and all you guys are flipping.
I gotta be that Karen now. Come on.
Oh
I
my
gotta
god.
be the Karen. I
Why
got,
can't you be a Jan?
no, I
Why
gotta be the
can't you just
Karen.
be a
I
Jan?
gotta complain.
Oh,
It's just, yeah, I don't think I'm really looking as forward to this coming season as I have in the past. I'm not going to say I won't play it. I'm not going to go in there and give this a try because, yeah, I'd like to see how they're working out. But for me
hey,
personally, it's just
maybe when
not
you
as
get in
exciting.
there, okay, but maybe when you get in there, that fourth cube hole will be there. Maybe it will.
Maybe it
Maybe they
will,
haven't
maybe it
said
won't.
anything. Maybe it won't.
I mean, we'll see.
Maybe we'll see. Well, but you're right. I mean, this is definitely a complete makeover
Right.
um, for us that play. I'm going to say in silent mode, right? Because we
Hmm.
play by ourselves,
Right.
and but it's a long time coming for us. I mean, we're talking like 12 years.
Well,
There has been nothing in 12 years for offline mode. I
right.
mean, yeah, you get to bring over all your stuff over to your offline character, but it's all nerfed by the time you get it, so it doesn't work anyway.
Right. And, like I was going to say, how, I do this towards the end of the season. Like now, it's just like, okay, well, the season seems to be dragging out. I'm getting bored with it. There's not as many people online. So most of the time, I just go and I put my tune in a town and I go over to my other screen and I scroll Facebook or do whatever because I'm not much of a solo player. But
Mm.
maybe this will change that. Maybe now it'll give me a reason to go in and be like, okay, well, not as many people are on right now. So maybe I am going to try this out and give this little solo thing a go.
And I think that's really what they were looking to do is to boost the other side
Hmm.
because if you leave out a certain party long enough, you start losing money
Oh, yes,
because you're
I get
not
that.
right. So
Right.
I think they finally realized that hey, we need to do something with people who play offline because we're losing a lot of money.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So um, so so you're planning on playing with cash tonight,
Yeah,
and
we'll at least run from 1 to 70. You're more than welcome to join. Whoever's on from WAP Clan is more than welcome to join. And we can, help each other get to 70, get the gear that we need. Which, by the way, I have to tell you, my favorite part of PTR
mm-hmm. Is
is
that really big guy that you get to
the
who drops
Jank.
all that stuff?
It's Jank. I love
Yeah,
Jank. I can't help it. That is my favorite part. I mean, not yeah, going in with the increased legendary drop rate. Yeah, there's legendaries all over the place. My first
there
time
is.
playing PTR, I had to take screenshots. There were so many of them.
Right.
But my favorite thing was going over to him, giving him my blood. I mean, you don't have to worry about blues and yellows. Unlike Kadala, who
Mm-hmm.
doesn't
He
give
just
you
wants blood
anything.
shards.
Oh
He
yes,
just wants blood
he
shards.
is. I keep saying they just need to bring him into the game. That'll never
Yeah.
happen. But
Well, maybe it would. Maybe it would be like it's not just 5 or 6, but you have to give them your whole cache of blood shards.
Right,
Like if
right,
you're at
right.
2,500, you got to give them 2,500, and whatever you get is what you get.
Right. You know,
That would be kind of cool.
it seems great to me. It'd be a great idea, but that for me is one of my favorite parts of PTR. I'm like, oh yes, we get to go in, we get to go to Jake, however you pronounce his name, and he's just gonna give
So
me
here's
everything
what
I
I
need.
so here's what I would like to do.
Yeah,
I would like to play with you and Cash tonight, so we can all get each other up to 70.
sounds good.
Um, and then after that, once we get to 70, I will peel off someone else can play with you, so I can go and do the solo, and then that's when I will do a live broadcast across Discord. So
Exactly. Yep. And I'm pretty sure that's what Cash and I will both do as well. Since eventually we're all going to have to go into solo games.
yes,
So, and
so
you know, w- we'll each be running. Cash will be running on his Twitch. I'll be running on my Twitch. I imagine I'll be running on his Twitch. You can catch all of us. I think the links are all on my about section.
yeah, so
And
I will definitely be doing the Firebird Wizard
sounds
for
great.
anyone
And
who wants
I'm
to know.
pretty sure I'll probably be messing around with that Necro. I'm not sure what Cash is going to do as of yet, but I'm going to guess he's probably going to go towards the Wizard.
I see.
So,
So awesome, awesome, awesome. Well,
sounds
I will
good.
see you. Text me when you have a moment
Oh, I will.
to let me know you're on. And at this time, I want to thank you for spending some time with me
And thank
and
you for being
talking.
with me. And thank
Oh,
you
you're
all
welcome.
for, joining us,
Listening.
listening.
Abs- Absolutely.
So, I,
So, and just an FYI for anyone who's looking to join Wicked Awesome Players, look us up. Give us a shout out. We don't turn anybody away. We don't do background checks. We
Imagine
don't.
Bear is actually one of our officers.
Yes, and I'm a good officer. I don't. Well, unless you act really bad, and then I just no questions asked, kick you. But anyway,
No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. He comes to Mama Bear.
that's true. I
He
don't do
does.
anything without permission. So the bottom line is if you're looking to play with awesome players, if you're looking to play with people that care about their community, to teach and learn, please join us. We have a diversity of people that play with us. Our clan is growing every day, and please take the time, check us out, and you're more than welcome to join.
Yep. Thank you very much for saying that.
You're welcome. Well,
And
I got to do something right.
there you go. Again, thank you to all of you. And, check us out later.
All right. You have a good one. We'll see you in a couple hours.
Sounds good.
All right. Bye bye.
Bye bye.